Hi y'all, it's Kate. Sorry, I got the hiccups. Kate's Garden Chicken and Cat Rambles. It's Thursday night. It's about 7 o'clock. Getting nice and dark. And I finished extending the teenage run, which ended right there. I've extended it another 15 feet. And we step back so that they have more area to run and forage, because that is their breed, but they are still covered with mesh over the top, the mesh all around them, just because they are just, I feel they are too small to come out with the other chickens. There you go, you can sort of see them side by side. And like I said in a previous video, they're going to be small to medium chickens. Oh, I'm so sorry that I'm yawning, but those are the leghorn crosses, cross between leghorns and gold-laced Wyandotte. That's a silver-laced Wyandotte. Look at their size, okay? Look at them. So the cream-crested legbark, which are the gray chickens, are at 13, almost 14 weeks old. Where these the leghorn sorry, got the hiccups. I can't stop these hiccups. The leghorn gold-laced crosses are 2 weeks behind them at least, maybe 3. But you can see that they're beautiful, and until I'm not comfortable letting any of them out until they're a little bigger, and they've still got at least another month on chick starter grower feed. They recommend you keep them on that till 18 weeks, and they are only at about 14 and 12 weeks. So for this last month, I wanted them to have more space. I put it off a week because of Lyra being ill with what I think coccidiosis. Dude, we have had so much therapy today, and you've been emasculated so many times. You just need to back the fuck off me. That I wanted them to have a good 5 weeks of coccidia treatment in their system, through their water, before I put them out on grass and a run area that had been previously occupied by these guys, which are all super healthy and sassy, of course. Mr. Sassy, of course. But has also had wild birds on it. So I wanted to make sure that they had a good... Oh, God, I can't get rid of these hiccups. Make sure that they had a good round of the Amprolium on Cordis, their water. So you can see their water's a little yellow there. That's because that's the very last of probably a little bit of the cord might be still be in there, but that is mainly the boosting their vitamin K, all their B vitamins, probiotic. Look at all these feathers they've been losing. So over there, outside their area, I gathered up a lot of their feathers and threw them out there, because it's been delightful watching the wild birds find feathers along the fence, especially when it's windy, and they have been hoarding them and taking them to make their little wild bird nest. So I picked up a bunch out there that's outside in the yard. I don't know if you can tell, but I've mowed already tonight, because tomorrow is my birthday, and I plan on being as lazy as possible, only doing what I absolutely have to do. So normally by this time, the grown-ups are heading to their end of the coop. I think sunset is technically like 7:30, but there's no sun. The sun would be setting over there, which is the west. But anyway, I wanted to show the expansion of the teenage run. Their coop is nice and clean, and they've got plenty of bedding in there. After the rain is gone, we're just having like 3 days of rain, I will open that big door, take down their screen door, and on a day when it's not too sunny, when they can be out here enjoying themselves, I will use the leaf blower and blow all the old bedding and old poop out the door, and then rake it up and get rid of it. But of course, because of the coccidioses, once I cleaned out their coop, when I pulled Lyra out, I did put some Saturday evening lime in there before I put fresh bedding. And they all seem to be doing great, knock on wood. Here I am knocking on this stump, knock on wood. And I don't want any more chicken issues. My previous video, when I'm chatting, it's just me, I talked about that I thought Lyra was starting to look better, you know, feeding and eating without me forcing her, and opening her eyes and being a little more active. But I'm not so naive as to think that, you know, a lot of illnesses put humans or animals, you know, right before the end. You kind of get that. People do it with cancer, people do it with CF, people do it with all kinds of disorders, that, you know, you get that last wind, you know, a last burst of energy, and that often gives people who love you and people who take care of you the false hope that, you know, you're going to make it through this. You know, so I'm trying to be realistic and pragmatic and think about this, and the fact that she may not make it. I sure hope she does. There's her sister and her hatchmate, and that's Moira, and she's doing great. It's been over a week since I've had her sister away, and her and the younger two here, look at them. Those are my spicy girls. That's Daisy and Flower, Leghorn crosses, and they got some spice to them. They're just, Laddie has been eyeballing them, and then look at Colin, C-O-L-M, Colin. He is going to be a stunning rooster. He already is a stunning rooster. Quintessential cream-crested Leghorn. You can see the females there. So she looks like, look at her little, she's still got her little crest, the little mohawk. But his is starting to, you know, it's not as noticeable, lays down a bit towards the back. See if he walks out because he is getting his comb. Come on, Colin. There he is. He's so handsome. And at night, he does corral his girls up, and he makes the little rooster noises similar to Laddie Roo, and herds all his girls into the coop. And of course, then I laugh because the two, Moira follows him. Moira and Lyra, when she was still out here, you know, very, very obedient, very good girls. They like, okay, we're going in. These two, they give him a run for his money. They like to bow up to him, and they're like, you're not the boss of me. But they're a lively bunch of teenagers, and I love them. And we're gonna, like I've said numerous times, we're supposed to have rain the next few days, which I hate for them, but now they've got at least it's probably 8 feet wide, 7.5 to 8 feet wide, and probably 30 plus feet long run. And so they've got plenty of room. And since they're going to be in here another month, and it may be getting warmer, I will probably devise something not as haphazard as that, but make them a little mini pavilion for them to get under and find refuge from any kind of predators or rain, but not have to go inside their coop. I still plan on using the special drill bit we have and drilling some round windows into here. I don't know if I'll make a regular window or if I'll make several little porthole windows, but I pretty much decided that I'm going to leave this small coop up because I've got the Easter eggers in the house, and once this rain and cold weather's over, I'm going to bring them out because they're driving me nuts. They're about 8 weeks old. They're starting to get bored. They've got a chick stick. every day I'm doing something different to keep them entertained. But I think I'm going to bring them here to the timeout run, which is the large 3-foot by 5-foot dog crate, which is covered in mesh, has a roost in it. I've been using it for timeout for Laddie. Not that it helps, but I'm going to bring them out here. I'll bring their heater out here for at night when it's cold. Their little radiant heater, and I'll position it so when they're perched, they can be in front of the heat at night. But otherwise, I probably will use plywood rather than the vinyl, because that vinyl is such a large piece and it's so hard to maneuver it. We'll see. I might end up using part of that frame and making them like a without sides to covered, but a roof with vinyl and that. But that's a lot more work than I really want to get into, or something temporary. God, I can't get rid of these hiccups. So I've got enough plywood that I have enough pieces that I can cover them and put it around them to block them from direct sun when it's really hot and prevent them from getting wet when it rains. I'm sorry. But I will be able to put their heater out here, and I'll make a little bit of a raised platform on this back side, so that if they want to, they can get up off the wet ground if they want to. And their food and their water will be up off the wet ground. But they will be out here until it's just totally warm enough that I can, at least for a month, until I can get the teenagers are ready to come out into Gen Pop. And these guys can move from this kennel into the teenage run. If I put them in there now, these guys would just pick on them, because of course they would be so much smaller. And then they're fully feathered. Why we have this cold, wet weekend coming, I don't want them to be overstressed with big birds and cold, wet weather, and maybe not getting good spots on the perch and not having anybody cuddle with them other than the 3 of them. And like I said, I'm trying to keep all 3 groups. I have 3 different groups of chickens. I have the adults, the teenagers, and the juveniles. And you know, with one chicken having possible coccidia and being treated, I just am very leery of putting them all together yet. And that's kind of what happens when you have 3 different age groups. But luckily I have a lot of property, and I do plan on taking this pen is just put together with these little zip ties, and I do plan on taking this back wall of fence and extending it out, and it'll go past that little tree there, and then I'm going to cut it through the middle of my mint patch so that they have mint on their side of the fence that they can eat and play in, and I'll have mint on the back side of their little fence to harvest for soap or tea or whatever I want to harvest it for. And it'll all be accessible to the bees and all the different pollinators. And then I have so much of this crap, which I hate, but I'm going to take it from this T-post here and go straight across this back side of the garden and meet up on the other side of the mint. And that area probably will not get to be covered by the hawk net. As I have this long piece cut, I could probably cut a couple more pieces to cover that area, so that, you know, they're not food for predators. And I don't worry about anyone but these 2 white girls, my leghorn crosses, because they are easy targets. The others are you know, have enough of a pattern and earth tones to not be something that can be spotted and easily caught. But these are all fast chickens, and they're all very alert chickens, and they will see something from a long ways away. But I'm still with the hawk net up. I just still need help doing it, and that way I can just feel comfortable, but that nobody is going to be, hey, don't pick on her. Yeah, she's got a pretty dress on, and it's your fault. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. Yeah, she had I put some blue blue coat antiseptic medication where her feathers were missing in the back, from which I wanted to blame all on Laddie. But these girls, the Brahmas, which are normally sweet, can be a little peck at her. And I noticed when I put the medicine on her, she kept reaching back and pecking at her own raw spot on her own. So I just had to put the dress back on her. She doesn't like it, but she's going to have to deal with it. So enough of my rambling. This will probably be the last video for this week until after the rain is gone, until I move the juveniles out here. But I just wanted to show that these girls have an extra 30 feet added to their run. Well, these girls and Mr. Handsome back there. He is so handsome. But it's bedtime, and when I go in, they'll all go in. When I'm out here talking or filming them, these guys, the teenagers, what I call it, tend to want to stay out later and kind of hang out and be cool. And I'm sure they're totally enraptured or totally into exploring this new area. But they've got a good 40, 50 feet, 50 to 60 feet back to the coop. But with me out here, they'll be hanging out and they won't be running in. So I'm going to go in and try to get rid of these hiccups. Call it a night. Of course, the grown-up chickens. Here's Laddie having a midnight snack, but the Brahmas and the Wyandotte are all pretty much, let's see. Can we see some pizzas here? Yeah, you can't really see their feet, but they're all up in the coop. The only reason the wall is down is because the wind right now is coming out of the southeast. And if we get any rain tonight, it'll be coming this direction. So I've left that wall, which, if you're familiar with the page, that wall latches up to the ceiling, and I typically leave everything open air. But I like having the option. Oh, there's the Brahmas. I was wrong. They're not even in there. Luna's the one that always goes to bed on time. But I like having the option that if the wind, which often being here on the coast, that we'll get wind, especially hurricane winds, and rain coming out of the southeast, which is to my back, that I can put their little wall down and prevent them from getting like direct rain and wind on them. Keeping this corner closed right here, this corner of the coop, does help. And it keeps their food dry. The nest box is dry. I do plan on putting some more nest boxes across here. I just am waiting until after this rain is over. What, Marigold? Laddie and Marigold just can't stop talking. I guess Mama can't either. But this area right now, I'm keeping the tarp this way, and I'll keep it up this way for the summer, and it'll keep any direct southeast by southeast weather from blowing right in on them. And it keeps their food dry, keeps the nest boxes dry, and it provides a little bit of windbreak. But I'm keeping their wall here. It has been up, but like I said, we're supposed to be getting some rain, and right now the wind is coming out of the southeast, so that helps to keep them from getting blasted. Of course, the young ones there in the coop, they're fine. They're protected, and they have enough of an overhang that rain doesn't really get in. I think I've showed this before, but here it's the very top edge of their coop is double layered chicken wire, and it's only open like that on two sides, and this side has part of the shade tarp, so they don't get rain going right in directly. The rain would have to be coming, sideways and right into, at the perfect angle to get in there. And this side I've kept a board up in the middle that I can move, I feel like they need more ventilation, but they got plenty of ventilation. So, but they stay dry. These guys do too, for the most part. Even though I took all the walls, the solid walls down around the coop so they can have open air coming into summer, I have put their shade cloth down, and I do it every night. Especially when it's been windy and chances of rain. And once it gets hot, hot summer, I will put the back side that you can't see, this side over here on the back side, down just to keep the sun, the westerly sun, from beating in on them. But otherwise, it's folded in half, so it does provide them a bit of a windbreak and rain break, and so they're perfectly fine. Everybody's good. And I'm gonna get out of here and leave them time to finish doing their thing. See, I don't see any more of the young chickens out in their run. They finally gone in. But typically I come out here at 7:30 at night, it's almost dark, and the adult chickens are in bed, and the teenagers are out running around. Kind of typical, huh? But anyway, that's where we're at. Expanded runs and very indulged chickens. Mama's a very indulgent and loves them bunches. But here's Laddie out here with Brahma girls. Everyone have a great weekend. Oh, yeah, there's some teenagers pop back out. They're like, hey, what's going on? You guys see our new run? We got lots of extra run, extra room. So everyone keep Lyra in your prayers. Have a great weekend. Love you all. Thank you. Bye.